afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Today, I wanted to talk about junk Toyota Tacoma mods. You know, when you've done as many mods as I've done, you're going to run across some that don't work very well or are ineffective. And I've got 5 of them for you, 5 that you should definitely avoid so that you're not donating to some company somewhere and getting nothing but garbage in return. Let's go ahead and start off. Number 1 are those no drill or drillless hood struts. Now, what I'm talking about, let's take a look underneath the hood of the Tacoma. I had put some on, and then I quickly became very disappointed. These are the red line tuning struts. Highly recommend those. The ones that I had before, they bolted on to the hinge. Not very good either, because now you're messing around with the alignment and the hinge on your hood, but I could get over that. And then up here, they kind of went into a hole somewhere. I forget exactly how they even installed. And then they had a little bit of adhesive or something on them. But the bracket itself did not sit flush all the way, the whole bracket with the hood, so it would flex on the pivot point as you move the hood. Absolutely horrible. I had no faith in those. I removed them, and as you can see, I put the red line tuning on. I'm not sponsored by either one of these companies, by the way. Next up, the train horn. Had to have a train horn. I think it's cool. I still do. But I bought a really cheapy train horn. I think it cost me less than $25, something like that. So it's no wonder it wasn't very good quality. Now, I did like where it mounted. It kind of bolted in, or at least I did, right down here. And then there was a little compressor-like air canister down here, wired up. Everything was cool about it in the beginning. Sounded great, was nice and loud. I mean, it would make you jump. I know, because I did it to my wife. But it started to rust. Everything on it started to rust. And that's because of the cheapo hardware, I think. And the air tube that connected would not stay connected. Now, are those big things? Well, only if you want to use it, right? I mean, if the air hose isn't connected to the horn, you push the button, nothing happens. Could have been overcome with some of those clamps and maybe different hardware, but I didn't buy it so I could start replacing pieces and parts of it to make it good. It was absolutely junk. I don't recommend it. If you're going to go with an air horn, go with one rather from a company that's reputable, something that has good reviews. Next up, and this happened just recently, grill lights. These come from a company, and it was on Amazon. I believe it's called Oxalam, something like that. There's a short video out there, by the way, describing it. You can look back and take a look at that if you want to see. But the problem was, one of the lights, this one in particular, started flashing, one section of it. So it's got some kind of a short in it, I don't know what, bad contact, some kind of a problem. These lights have only been on my truck for about 3.5 months. Garbage product, although I've got to say, I'm not sure if there is a good product out there. I'm going to try one from somebody else because I'm not ready to give up. And frankly, I want to change the color of them to orange anyway. I think I might go with an orange theme on this truck now. But I've heard problems like this before. They stop working, they get condensation inside, then they short out. So you have to be careful. Again, make sure you go with something that's reputable, that has good reviews when it comes to grill lights. Next up, suction cup phone holders. These things. Let's step in the truck. I'll show you, if you're not familiar, how these connect. It's not very complicated. I mean, I love the simple design of it, if you will. The problem is in the execution, I guess. They have a suction cup on one side. You can see right there, right? And all they do, they go up against your window. This one has a little lever that pulls, like you could see. I'm trying to do this one-handed. And you would mount it wherever you want on your dash so that the phone is facing you, or on the windshield, I should say. You push it up like so, and then you push down the little suction thing. And it seems like it's pretty darn solid, right? I mean, I almost feel like I could break it if I tried to pull it off. This one happens to be magnetic, by the way. My phone would just stick up there to it. The problem is, the weather. When it gets really hot outside, let's say you park somewhere and the sun is just beating down on that thing all day, the suction goes away. It releases and then it falls down somewhere. Or if you live in a climate where it gets cold, the suction releases again and it just falls down. I had it happen several times where I would come out from work. This thing would be laying down here on the floor somewhere, or maybe in the dash area, but it wouldn't hold. I even had it break free when I had my phone on it. Now, phones these days, of course, are not cheap. I mean, you've got your, $1,000, $800, $1,500, whatever iPhone on there. It falls off, slams into something down below, and now you've got a cracked screen. Or maybe worse, it doesn't work anymore at all. I would highly recommend not going with these unless you're releasing it and reapplying it often to make sure that the suction is going to hold. And I've had a few different kinds. They all do the same thing. I would replace them with something like this. It's a plate you can see right behind. It screws behind your radio area. Very simple to do. And then some sort of a permanently mounted link, either a magnet like I have, or one of those squeeze holders, which I don't recommend, to hold your cell phone up there. Next up, and lastly, again, phone holders. I see all kinds of advertisements for two different types. The first are the ones that have adhesive on them and you stick them somewhere on your dash, somewhere on this trim piece. What a horrible idea. I mean, if you've ever stuck anything with adhesive anywhere, you know that when you pull it off, the adhesive remains. You're never going to get rid of it. And if you scrub it hard enough to maybe stop it from being tacky and sticky, you're going to damage whatever surface it was attached to. Never get one of those. The other type are the ones that affix to your vents. You know, they have a clamp on them here. They kind of clamp down over the vent. Those I've never had any luck with. They don't hold. You're blowing either hot or cold air out of there after all, right? So they're going to loosen up too, just like the suction cup up there does. Or they're just going to slip right off. Plus, if you've got your phone affixed to one of them, let's say you get lucky and you have one that does work for a little while, you're blocking the airflow of what comes out of here. I mean, the whole reason you've got this thing on to begin with is to keep you hot or cold, right? Horrible, horrible idea, I think. Again, I would always go with the more permanent style like that. Anyway, those are just 5 junk Toyota Tacoma mods that I definitely would not recommend. Live and learn. Hopefully you see this video if you're contemplating one of those kind of things, and save yourself a little money by not purchasing them. Leave a comment. Let me know. Have you ever bought a junk Toyota Tacoma mod, something you wouldn't recommend? I'd be curious to know. Leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.